Welcome everyone to the interview series with Women of Wisdom. We're joined today by Yana Groves. She's an executive producer. She's worked on a lot of different Australian TV productions, and it's great to be to be chatting with you today, Yana.
Lovely to be here. What an honor.
Yes,
Yeah,
lovely to have you have you with us today.
yeah, I'm looking forward to diving deeper. I loved your chapter. You're very funny, you're very witty, and I can't believe that you must have been you must be a scrapbooker of sorts that you actually kept their like running away like letter like the
It is such a strange and bizarre story. Um, uh, I was at my family home in Poland, just looking at the bookshelves, and I came across this Judy Blume book that I had when I was little. And I was just leafing through, reminiscently going through the pages, and tucked in the back page was this penciled list for what to pack when we run away, a running away list. And it was so crazy because obviously this is from the 80s. Me and my bestie plotting our escape. And weirdly, also, I mentioned to my bestie that I'd been asked to contribute to this fantastic series. And I said, I don't know where to start. I think I want to do something about running away with a circus, something to do with my industry being similar to the circus. And she said, why don't you start with our running away list? And that's how it all fell into place.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Can you share with us, Yana, what was on the list?
What was on the list? Oh gosh, well, I don't have the
Hmm.
list in front of me. It was something like plimsolls, sandals, socks, toiletries, a toothbrush, all panties, all panties,
All
uh,
panties.
all panties. And I think we said something like 6 loo rolls, you know? We were very, very into our hygiene and very concerned about, making sure that, we hadn't really thought about food. We hadn't really thought about shelter, but we certainly would have clean panties.
I love that. That's so gorgeous. Oh,
so
and of course,
I
your chapter is called Running Away with the Circus, and I loved your chapter. It was absolutely entertaining. I mean, you are just, yeah, you're just a beaming bright light, and that really comes through in the way that you deliver your chapter. So I guess for you, what was the because I think we talked about how, you've been involved in production and, this is kind of your industry, but you actually found this quite a challenge. So I'm really interested to hear how the journey went for you.
Um, it was really important for me to push myself to do something like this. And sorry, not only self motivate, but to have the support and energy from you two, because your belief in me helped me believe in myself. And therefore, I can share a story with others who are feeling like, I can't possibly write. I'm not a writer, la la la. Turns out, everything I do in my job is writing. So I am a writer. I guess my concern at the time was, can I convert that into a narrative on a blank page? Um, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as I said, I have been writing all my life, just in a slightly different format. So that was my challenge. And then, of course, you have all the sort of imposter syndromes and, the fear of judgment and who the hell does she think she is, terrified moments. But the way I was able to come through that was by being authentic. I'm telling my story and it's my perspective on the industry. I know there are millions of other perspectives, but this is very personal to me. And I think it certainly resonates with my industry and anyone else who's doing the hustle out in the big wide world, the circus, kind of careers that we choose. So yeah, it was a big challenge for me. But once that pen started flowing, it was hard to stop.
Yeah, there was no stopping her. Yeah.
And so you said that you grew up in Poland, because I know that you live in Australia now, and I detect a strong English accent. But you had a family home in Poland.
Yes. So my dad was Polish, and my parents moved out to Poland about 19 years ago, 18 years ago, and built a lovely home there. So, but I grew up in Sweden and the States and the
Oh,
UK. Yes.
okay.
So I'm a
All right.
child of the
A citizen of the world.
world. Yeah.
Awesome. And what advice would you give to women that are starting their journey, whether that be in TV or their own business? What's if you could give them one advice, something that you wish you knew when you first started, that could help them?
I mean, I think, and I'm sure most business owners would say the same. If you have a clear vision and the whys are in place, and this is why people write, business cases or, a business plan. As soon as I really spent time thinking about why I wanted to set up Bloomtime Media, it locked into who I am as a person, the way I operate in the world, and how I want to give back. So I do training and mentorships for people who want to enter the industry. I love being able to give back. After 30 years doing what I do in radio and television, it's such a rewarding experience to be able to convert some of my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, to those who are starting out, and also really ready them for this tumultuous space. It can be very, very rewarding, very invigorating, but also incredibly dangerous. So I want to share my knowledge and my experience with people so that they go in armed. That was key to me. But also I enjoy having space to be creative. So, it gives me an opportunity to work on, people come to me with their show ideas and I help nut out a workable concept. So I love that. I love having fresh clients who are like, I want to make a show about bananas. And I go, well, great. Let's make a fantastic travel show about bananas, whatever it might be. So I enjoy that. So I guess in answer to your question, for me, it's about being in flow. I am 100% true to myself in my business. I haven't gone out to, I don't know, sell cars. I'd be terrible at it. The dream of opening a flower shop would be a disaster for me. I don't have a green thumb. I don't think I've ever weeded a thing in my life. So there comes a point at which you've got to be true to your existing interests, your passion, and your knowledge. So for me, that would be find something that juices you, that absolutely flows. And that's when you get almost like a spiritual feeling. It's like a jolt from the heavens that just says you're in the right place, doing the right thing, and not to give up, really. It's about maintaining your course, knowing the master plan and keep at it, because if you're in flow, you can't go wrong.
I love that. That's amazing. I love the name of your business as well, Bloomtime Media. It's just such a reflection. It's so on point, on purpose. And, there's been a real common theme so far with all of our interviews, and that is that find something that resonates with you, that, is your passion, has, is built into your purpose, and, keep going and don't give up. Just, keep moving forward. It must have been, I'm curious in terms of, the industry that, you're in, I'm kind of involved in that to some degree myself. And, how difficult has it been being a woman inside, the challenges that we might come across in the industry?
This is a global question. This is a cultural question. Because it depends where you are in the world. And I think I have worked in areas where I've seen over the 30 years, women become more and more senior and take more key roles and key positions. I'm lucky that in my industry, it does encourage female progression. However, we're still dealing with a top tier situation. I will tell you something that happened a couple of years ago. I went to a TV talk at an educational establishment. I was very excited to hear the panel, what they had to say. They were all very, very, very senior women. I came away really scared because I felt that they had struggled so much in the Australian landscape as women. And I also got the sense that, and this was, as I say, a few years ago, that they felt they were fighting a losing battle, especially when it comes to breaking through that glass ceiling, because there somehow wasn't faith that they could run the business. So it feels like women in my industry are the creatives. There are more and more women getting into tech, in our space. I want to see more camera operators. I want to see more sound operators. I want to see people who are working in those traditional male roles, because there's every reason why women can do just as good or better jobs. But I think there's a very, very limited mindset in our culture, unfortunately. I think other countries may have a more broader view in terms of that sort of gender equality. I'm encouraged, though, to see that slowly changing here in Australia.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I was in the States, and I've just completed a documentary that's featuring Beck and Kay, who are both in this book. It's also featuring Jack Canfield. And I spent a bit of time in Los Angeles. I was based there for 3 months. And yeah, I met a lot of women that are in working with Disney, and as you'll say, though, mostly the creatives, writers, producers, executive producers, those sort of positions, but not DPs, not in director of photography or anything like that. And I know some really good creatives in Sydney that are photographers that would make amazing DPs. So yeah, I do hope that does change, because I found that was the same in the US as well, at least in Los Angeles. And it's a place where you get people from everywhere, from all over the world and many different states of America. But no DPs. And so it's fascinating to get your insight as well, Yana.
Well, I mean, that's where we come in, right? That's where the sorts of, when we're hiring somebody, perhaps, as a DP, perhaps we give somebody a chance. I'm trying to push for that belief to change. I want things to change. So, for example, I lecture at JMC Academy, which is a creative industries degree. And I really love seeing young women rising up and really embracing their creativity and believing in themselves, because we have to change the mindset. That's first and foremost. So my little job is really just to make sure that they know they can do it and go and get it. That's their role. It could be that our time, we've done our push, but it's now for the young ones, who are coming into the industry, in all industries, to really embrace and make that balance, redress the balance.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Beck. I'll let you go.
Oh, no, that's right, John. We're both excited about the conversation.
Let's ask Yana a question.
I know, I know, I know. So yeah, I was actually going to ask you about, how do you feel about the importance of women's empowerment, coming into the series. It's Women of Wisdom, women sharing their wisdom to inspire other women to, forge forward and create these spaces. So yeah, I just wanted to get your feedback on how you feel about that contribution.
In terms of women's empowerment and contributing to this incredible series, I think, well, I'd like to look at it from the perspective of the feedback that I've had. I have had so many men cheer this on, and I think that's really cool. Of course, as women, we have a lot to say, and it's incredible to have a platform to be heard and to share our insights. And as I say, I feel very honored to be alongside 9 other incredible women, and to be working with you, Beck, and of course you, John, in such an important piece of work. I think it's an important piece of work, because to have a platform, to have a voice, to be able to be heard is invaluable. But as I say, I'm really encouraged by the feedback that I'm getting from men. They enjoy the read, and that's how it should be. I'm somebody who doesn't like to focus on division. As a Black woman, from all backgrounds, I think if I had focused too much on my differences, I wouldn't be where I am today. I believe wholly in an inclusive society. I believe in humanity. I believe that, people should be judged on their merit, not their color, not their gender. And, I've been fortunate enough to have been brought up with those sort of values. And I think something like this is a great way to, inspire men and women. So it's a really great project.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I love.
that's super important, and that's part of the reason why, we also incorporated our warriors of wisdom. So I love that you've had such great feedback from men, and hopefully our women will read Warriors of Wisdom, and that will give them a whole insight. So yeah, love that. Unity is so important. Sorry, John, you were going to ask a question. Me
All
getting
good. No, I think
excited again.
that was perfect that you spoke into that, and vice versa, and let people know that there is going to be a warriors of wisdom as well. I feel that was pertinent, and I just love that viewpoint, and and the acknowledgement of your parents that they helped raise and instill that conditioning into you in a positive way. Obviously, there's a lot of negative conditioning, but there's also positive
Sure.
conditioning that my parents. So um, I'm curious to learn, like, when you felt vulnerable sharing, and that was a surprise for me because I was just like reading what you wrote. I was like, oh, she's a natural. She probably just whipped this out in a couple of hours and send it through. I was like, wow, like how incredible. And then I learned that it was actually, a lot of trepidation and self-doubt and a bit of a emotional roller coaster ride. So how did you support yourself during that vulnerable period in writing your chapter?
Um, I suppose I just focused on the task at hand. For me, I had to dig deep to say I've got this. I again, because it was an authentic story, it is an authentic story. Um, it flowed once I'd locked that in. And I think that, points again to being in flow. Once you're in flow, it flows. And so the imposter syndrome disappears, the fear of tall poppy syndrome disappears. And I started to giggle as I was writing it, and that's always a good sign. I laugh at my own jokes, so that's a bonus.
Yeah. If it
And
makes you laugh, it's probably going to make other people laugh.
right, probably, maybe, I don't know. But, and also knowing we're doing this for a good cause. We're doing this for Destiny Rescue, and that for me feels again completely in flow. It has the right purpose and it has the right tone, and something that I felt really proud to be writing on behalf of. So I suppose that's how words were put onto paper.
I think
Strong
that's
wine. Yeah.
yes, yes. And I love that you've shared that, Yana, because there's a lot of our ladies come through and they do say, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can write. And, it comes back to finding that place of authenticity. And once you sort of, settle into that and, it does become a lot easier. And there can be a lot of fear around what people might think of your chapter. Maybe you're sharing parts of your story that you haven't shared before, and so but at the end, there's a powerful impact, and it becomes this wonderful legacy that you can hand on to generations to come. And I think for somebody like you that's larger than life and 30 years of experience, I think that sharing the fact that it was a vulnerable um, ride for you is inspiring to other women who might have self-doubt. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Oh, well, absolutely. And I encourage anybody who has the fear of, no, I'm not an author, or I'm not a writer, or it's not going to be interesting, or, I challenge everybody to give that something like this a go, because I think also there's also a stage in our lives where we go, I don't need any more challenges, or I don't want to learn anymore, or I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Oh my God, it has so kicked me in the butt to go and do something that makes me uncomfortable, because I am absolutely feeling so incredible about this book. It did make me feel uncomfortable, and it was worth the discomfort, and it will take me to the next level. Maybe I'll challenge myself to water skiing. I'm not sure what's next, but there will be more challenges, and I'm ready for them.
I definitely want to see
Well,
more of your. Yes, yeah, you're gonna have to post that. I'll look out for your water skiing video, Jan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look out.
Well, I think that leads us to a really important point, and that I remember you sharing with me, Yana, that you kind of got to the end of the process, and then you have come up with you want to then move forward with your own podcast, which is like super exciting. So that the book has taken you into other realms, and I think that's the other aspect of becoming an author in the WOW series. It's not just the other women that you connect with and the opportunities that you might have to collaborate and create, other events, retreats. I mean, all sorts of wonderful things can come out of writing your chapter. And, it's just about taking that first step and allowing the magic to unfold, because, everybody has these amazing stories. So I was super excited when you shared that with me, that your podcast is next. Hope I haven't let the cat out of the bag, but I'm pretty sure I
No,
haven't.
I mean, it is really exciting. And again, I'm talking about that flow. The universe it unlocked something, because this podcast is really talking to entertainers in an entertaining way. So it's people from film, television, music. It's called The Biggest Little Show. So it comes with a little bit of modesty. And I'm shooting it in the Spiegel tent in Sydney, which is in the entertainment quarter. So it's like a circus tent. And it absolutely is in flow with the chapter that I've written, How to Run Away with the Circus, bloody blee, bloody blah, bada bing, bada bang. And so it just opened up doors. I suppose I was starting to look at things in a different way. I've been planning a podcast for a long time, but this seemed to align entirely. So that's the flow.
Yeah, it almost feels like a course could come out of this as well, Yana, and a coaching program.
Funny you should say that, John. My God, it's almost like you've rehearsed this. It's turning into an advertorial, John.
Yeah, it's because we know the magic of the book series.
It does actually point to a course. It does. Yes, I've got exciting courses coming too. So it's very cool.
Yeah, awesome. And what else is next for you on the production front? Are you still involved in that world, or?
Yeah, so luckily, the way I've sort of structured my business is that I can still consult for the big production companies and work on the big shows, which is great because it means I can remain relevant. Not relevant, that sounds like the wrong word. I can understand what's happening, day to day, not remain relevant. That's not what I mean. I can, be on top of the new trends and, who's around and the way we're shooting things, how we're telling story. So, the last project I worked on was with Rhonda Media on a show called $1 Billion Playground. So I supervised the casting and development for that. That was fantastic. So that was happening while I was writing the chapter. And, next will be this beautiful podcast, my courses, which will run. And then I've got a few, well, would you believe it? I'm executive producing a horror film.
Oh, how exciting.
A supernatural thriller.
Oh, I love it.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? See, water skiing, horror films.
Yep. It's this guy. Yep.
Yeah, I can picture piranhas jumping out of the water trying to nip at your tush. So.
Right.
I love it. And it's so exciting. And is there anything else that you'd like to share, Yana?
Well, I want to thank you both for such an incredible experience. It is an honor to be invited to have my say among incredible women. And it feels really good to be a part of something so beautiful, The Wisdom series is really quite powerful in so many ways, more ways than one. So I can't thank you enough, Beck, for bringing me on board and for believing in me and us. I know we've got very exciting things coming in the future. And John, for your, facilitation and bringing this all to life and having my back. My God, I think there were a few emails there. I was like, I'm not quite ready. Thank you for the gentle nudge. It works.
You're just trying to keep it as gentle as possible. Yeah, but just to let you know that we're here, and if we can support you in any way, that we're available for you. That I'm available for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you, Yana.
And I heard that Beck, was there some news that you wanted to share or something?
About another cat out of the bag. Oh, yes. So Yana is actually coming into our third book in the WOW series and the Women of Wisdom series in Eagle's Eye. So we're super excited to have Yana involved again. And no doubt it will be, yeah, another incredible chapter. So no pressure, Yana, of
No
course.
pressure.
Yeah.
I feel that you're the kind of person that thrives under a little bit of pressure, you know.
Absolutely. Always have been. You know, I think it ties in very nicely with the chapter, How to Run Away with the Circus. You've got to, in my industry anyway, you've got to be a thrill seeker. You've got to be an adventure fiend, and you have to live on the edge. And living on the edge is where I say I'm most comfortable. I like being on the sofa too. You know, there's nothing like or on a beach with a cocktail. But
No.
you have to be ready for stress in my industry. It's where I
Okay.
thrive.
Yes. No, beautiful, beautiful. And how can people get in touch with you? How can they contact you and get in touch and reach out
Yeah.
to you?
So I'm very happy for people to email me direct
Yes.
at info@bloomtimemedia.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Yana Groves, and check out the website, bloomtimemedia.com.
Awesome. We'll put those links down
Beautiful.
below in the description. So
Fantastic. And yes, I'm more than happy to hear from people who have got show ideas or, you know, want to run something by me, or maybe want people who want to join the courses. We've got incredible courses coming up too. They'll be online and maybe a couple in person. And really, it's about, you know, giving people the opportunity to find jobs, paid jobs in the industry. And we all know we need paid jobs, right? It's about putting food on the table in a creative way.
Love
awesome.
that.
Awesome. So good. And of course, for the listeners, if you want more of the interviews from the series, like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you once again, Yana, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a
Thank
beautiful
you,
day.
Yana. You too.